When people think of Hollywood beauty, unforgettable blue eyes, and effortless screen presence, the name Alexandra Daddario instantly comes to mind. But what most people never see is the years of quiet struggle, rejection, discipline, and inner resilience that shaped the woman behind the spotlight. Born in New York City on March 16, 1986, Alexandra Daddario grew up in a family far removed from Hollywood fantasy, with a prosecutor father and a lawyer mother who valued structure, education, and responsibility. Yet, inside a young girl's heart, there was a dream that refused to stay silent. A dream of performing, storytelling, and becoming part of worlds far bigger than the one she saw outside her window. And at just 11 years old, she made a decision that would change her life forever when she told her parents she wanted to be an actress, not because it sounded glamorous, but because something deep inside her felt alive whenever she imagined standing in front of a camera. She trained at the Professional Children's School in New York and later studied acting seriously, understanding early that talent without discipline fades quickly. And even though she had the striking looks people would later obsess over, the industry did not immediately hand her success, because Hollywood does not reward beauty alone. It tests endurance, patience, and emotional strength. Her early years were filled with auditions that led nowhere, small roles that barely paid attention to her name, and moments where doubt tried to whisper that maybe this dream was too big. Yet she kept showing up, and that is the first powerful lesson of Alexandra Daddario's life. Success is not about one breakthrough moment. It is about surviving the invisible years when nobody applauds you. In 2005, she landed her first major role on the soap opera All My Children, playing Laurie Lewis, and while it was not global fame, it was proof that persistence creates opportunity. And from there, she continued climbing step by step, slowly building a career brick by brick until 2010 changed everything when she was cast as Annabeth Chase in Percy Jackson and the Olympians. The Lightning Thief, a film adaptation of The Lightning Thief written by Rick Riordan, and suddenly audiences around the world were introduced to her fierce intelligence and magnetic presence. Yet, even then, overnight fame did not magically remove insecurity or fear, because stepping into a beloved book character meant facing intense scrutiny from fans who already had their own imagination of who Annabeth should be, and Alexandra carried that pressure with quiet determination, proving she could embody strength, intelligence, and courage on screen while still discovering those same qualities within herself. After the Percy Jackson films, many actors might have become comfortable playing similar roles, but Alexandra chose to take risks, appearing in projects that challenged her range, from romantic comedies to horror films to intense dramas, understanding that reinvention is survival in Hollywood. And in 2014, she appeared in the first season of True Detective alongside Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, delivering a performance that sparked massive conversation online, not just because of vulnerability, but because she showed fearless commitment to her craft, willing to step outside comfort zones and face criticism head-on. That role changed public perception of her, shifting her image from young fantasy heroine to bold dramatic actress. And while the internet often reduces actresses to appearance, Alexandra repeatedly emphasized in interviews that she wanted to be respected for her talent, not objectified for her looks, revealing another powerful truth about her journey. In an industry that constantly comments on your body, your face, your image, maintaining self-worth becomes a daily battle. Then came 2015 and the disaster film San Andreas starring Dwayne Johnson, where she played Blake Gaines, once again demonstrating emotional depth inside a high-budget action film, proving she could balance blockbuster appeal with authentic performance. Yet despite box office success, Alexandra continued to work steadily rather than chase hype, choosing roles that interested her creatively rather than purely commercially, which is why her career feels sustainable rather than explosive and fading. Years later, in 2021, she starred in the critically acclaimed HBO series The White Lotus, portraying Rachel Patton, a newlywed grappling with identity, insecurity, and the illusion of luxury, and this role resonated deeply with audiences because beneath the glamorous setting was a woman questioning her value, her independence, and her voice, themes that echo real-life struggles many women face. and Alexandra brought a quiet vulnerability to the character that earned renewed praise from critics who recognized her evolution as a mature, nuanced actress. What makes Alexandra Daddario's story inspiring is not just that she became famous, but that she endured long periods where success was uncertain, where she had to trust her growth even when the spotlight dimmed, where she navigated an industry that can be unforgiving toward women who age, who change, who refuse to fit into one box, and still she continues forward with grace. Beyond acting, she has spoken openly about anxiety and the importance of mental health, reminding fans that even those who appear confident on red carpets battle internal storms. And by sharing vulnerability, she dismantles the myth that celebrities live untouched by insecurity. Her journey teaches that beauty may open doors, but character keeps them open, that talent may create opportunity, but resilience builds longevity, and that reinvention is not betrayal of who you are, but evolution into who you are becoming. Alexandra Daddario represents the power of staying committed to your dream long after the excitement fades, of believing in your craft when applause is silent, of accepting that growth sometimes requires discomfort, and that real strength is not loud but steady, not dramatic but consistent. And as her career continues expanding into producing and more complex roles, she stands as proof that patience, discipline, and self-belief can transform early ambition into lasting legacy. And this is only the beginning of a story still being written. As Alexandra Daddario's career moved beyond the early wave of recognition, something deeper began to define her journey, something far more powerful than fame or beauty or trending headlines. And that was evolution, because what separates temporary stardom from lasting relevance is the ability to grow without losing authenticity. And Alexandra Daddario slowly transformed from a promising young actress into a woman fully aware of her presence, her influence, and her voice in an industry that often tries to decide those things for you. After the global attention that followed Percy Jackson, she faced the subtle but dangerous Hollywood trap of typecasting, where casting directors begin to see you as only one thing, one character, one aesthetic, one safe category. Yet instead of resisting publicly or forcing a dramatic rebrand, she chose something more strategic and far more intelligent. She chose consistency and patience, appearing in romantic comedies like The Layover, exploring darker psychological tones in We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and continuously stepping into roles that demanded emotional nuance rather than surface glamour, proving that range is built quietly over time. And while audiences often focus on her striking blue eyes, what truly commands attention is her ability to convey vulnerability without exaggeration, to portray uncertainty in a way that feels painfully real, and that skill reached another level during her performance in The White Lotus, where her character Rachel embodied the modern conflict between external success and internal emptiness, a woman married into wealth yet unsure of her own identity, and through subtle facial expressions, restrained dialogue, and quiet breakdowns, Alexandra communicated the kind of emotional confusion that many people experience but rarely articulate, and critics began to acknowledge what longtime supporters already knew, that beneath the surface of mainstream fame was a disciplined actress who had spent years sharpening her craft. But beyond the screen, what makes her journey compelling is her openness about insecurity, because despite growing up in a stable, educated family and attending respected institutions, she has admitted to battling anxiety and self-doubt, revealing that even confidence on camera does not erase internal questioning. And this honesty resonates in a world where social media amplifies comparison and unrealistic perfection. And instead of pretending to be immune to pressure, she embraces vulnerability, turning it into strength. Her collaboration with major stars like Dwayne Johnson in San Andreas showcased her ability to hold emotional gravity even in explosive blockbuster environments, demonstrating that she could ground spectacle with sincerity, while her earlier bold role in True Detective alongside Matthew McConaughey had already proven she was unafraid of artistic risk. And together these performances form a pattern, a steady climb rather than a sudden spike, a reminder that long-term careers are not built on one viral moment but on sustained effort. As the years progressed, Alexandra also began expanding into producing, signaling a shift from simply participating in stories to helping shape them. And that transition reveals a deeper layer of ambition because control over narrative means control over representation. And for a woman who has experienced the industry's tendency to define actresses by appearance, stepping into creative leadership is both empowering and strategic. Outside of work, she has cultivated a grounded lifestyle,